Hi everyone, it's Miss Potts, and today we're going to be talking about equations. So let's take a moment and look at our focus for today. Our focus for today is to solve multi-step equations by rearranging terms and using the distributive property. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to answer this question. What is the process of solving a multi-step equation using the commutative property or the distributive property? So let's go ahead and jump into the lesson. Some background knowledge that we need to know before we go into the lesson of solving multi-step equations is that to find the solution to an equation, you must isolate the variable. So in other words, to isolate the variable, you need to get the variable on one side of the equation all by itself. We're going to take a look at an example of how this is done using the commutative property, or in other words, rearranging the terms. It doesn't matter what order they're in, we're just going to use the commutative property in order to solve this multi-step equation. So in this problem, we are asked to solve for 3n plus 9 plus 4n equals 2. So our first step is to write out the equation. The second step would be to combine the like terms, which is the commutative property. In this example, we're combining 3n and 4n to equal 7n. And we rewrite the equation to be 7n plus 9 is equal to 2. Next, we are going to subtract 9 from both sides so that we're left with 7n is equal to negative 7. And now, what we're doing in this equation is getting the variable all by itself. And we have 7 that's being multiplied by n. So we need to use the inverse operation. So we're going to divide both sides by 7 in order to come up with our solution of negative 1. Next, we're going to take a look at an example of using the distributive property with solving a multi-step equation. In this equation, we are asked to solve for r. So first we're going to rewrite the equation. And then we are going to use the distributive property. We're going to distribute 24 into each term inside the parentheses. So 24 is being multiplied by 34, and 24 is being multiplied by r. And we're going to rewrite the equation to be equivalent to 816 plus 24r is equal to 1,200. Next, we're going to subtract 816 from both sides of our equation, and we're going to rewrite that so that it is represented as 24r is equal to 384. Since we need to get the variable all by itself, and on the left-hand side of our equation, r is being multiplied by 24, we need to use the inverse operation, so we're going to divide both sides by 24 in order for r to equal 16. That was a nice quick lesson on showing you how to solve multi-step equations using the commutative and the distributive property. But first, let's go ahead and review what we learned at the beginning. A nice little reminder that in order to solve for these multi-step equations, you need to isolate the variable. So it's really important that you are using inverse operations and only having the variable on one side of the equation. And with all those steps given to you, ask yourself, can you answer this question? What is the process of solving a multi-step equation using the commutative property or the distributive property? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let us know. And please answer the questions below in order to show us that you have basic understanding of how to solve multi-step equations using the commutative or distributive property.